Thank you very much, everyone. I realise it's tea break, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I thought it was a good opportunity just to describe quickly who we are, why we've cameras here, and how we hope that we can support your learning for the future. So my name's Eoghan. I'm an emergency medicine doctor in Glasgow, and I'm the founder of MedReach. And basically, my journey here began 20 years ago when I was a medical student, and I always wanted to work for Médecins Sans Frontières. So I went out to work in the Ivory Coast one summer, and I became ill. And interestingly, based on Shevan's talk, my malaria screen was negative. They thought it was malaria, but it turns out it probably wasn't, maybe. But whatever it was, I became very, very sick, and I suffered for about 18 months afterwards. I think my immune system was quite badly affected. So life took a different turn. I was passionate about music. I went off and dropped out of medicine, did professional musician for 4 years. There's a couple of albums on iTunes if anyone's interested. Shameless plug. But anyway, it didn't work out, obviously. So I came back to emergency medicine, and so began my love-hate relationship with continuing medical education. I'm not entirely sure what it's called in Africa, and I look forward to chatting with some of you to find out what your needs are and how we can support you. But basically, it's similar for us in the UK. I think all health professionals should have access to really high-quality, world-class learning as they progress through their career, but access to that is not equal and fair for everyone. And it's largely determined by where you live, how much funding you get, and how much time you can get away from work and family. And I'm sure in remoter communities and lower income countries it's even more disadvantaged. And I always used to be bothered by, certain high quality conferences and courses like this one. For every one of you that's here participating, I always think there must be dozens of people across Africa and elsewhere who would have loved to have been here, who would benefit from this education, but can't for all the aforementioned reasons. They live too far away, they don't have enough money to come, etc., etc. And I don't think that's fair. So we at MedReach have two broad aims. Our first aim is to create fair and equal access to a greater range of high quality learning. And we believe that this affords us an opportunity to support healthcare in low income countries, which I'll come to in a wee second. And that's MedReach. I don't know if you're all avid Twitter users or Facebook users, but please follow us. So essentially what is MedReach, you're probably asking. It's actually a video learning platform. So it's basically we come to high quality courses and conferences, we film them, and we make them available very quickly afterwards for those that can't be here. I'll give you a little example of kind of roughly
what is resilience? Well, it's equally evanescent, but it probably means the ability to bounce back in the same way that a tissue is resilient. It bounces back.
Now the step 3, you have to watch the screen and see, do I have a nice view of both the mitral and aortic valve? If that's the case, you're done. If not, what you need to do is to tilt the probe, keeping the same angle of rotation.
So essentially a broad variety of things. We're focusing on critical care at the moment just because that's what I'm familiar with, but we hope to broaden out to other medical specialties. But we use high-end video production. We capture tutorials and courses from multiple angles. There's a note-taking function. You can timestamp your notes so you can go back to certain bits. You can export your notes. You can export certificates as a documentation of your learning. And it's fair, or we try to make it fair because it's online, so everyone who has internet access can get it. And we try to make it fair because we're going to charge a modest amount to those that can afford it, and for those that can't afford it, we're going to give it all for free. So everything on the site is going to be free for low-income countries. But really what we need is we need your help. We just need you to be aware of it. Our biggest problem is advertisement. Our biggest problem is just letting people know that we exist. For example, when this goes online, hopefully within the next week, it will be available to you all. I often think it's hard when you come to a conference. There's a lot of information congested into the one day, and it's easy to go away and forget, oh, it's good, but trying to remember all the details. So hopefully you can come, go to MedReach, you can watch these lectures again at your leisure just to cement that learning. So I left a little document, just a little flyer on each of your tables. Please take it back to your work. Please tell your friends, tell your colleagues, just tell people that we exist. I also have some spare ones. If you think, oh, I'll take a spare one and I can stick it up in our department or stick it up somewhere, that would help us to just let people be aware that we exist. And that is it, and enjoy your tea. Thank you very much.